Limited companies, how do you rate your Xero accountant? Okay, there's a reason for me asking this question. And this question I am asking limited companies who do their own accounts in Xero, but they use a Xero accountant to submit their accounts at year end to Companies House and HMRC. And I would rate your accountant based on what they do after that submission. And I'm going to give them a rating, A, B or C. Let me explain. So the A-rated accountants are the ones that you're going to work with. They will submit your accounts to HMRC and Companies House as expected, but they will ensure that your accounts in Xero agree to these accounts that have been submitted. They might have to make corrections for you, and they might do final adjustments, for example, your corporation tax charge for the year, and they will ensure that these corrections, these adjustments are in your Xero account. They will have access to your Xero account and they will do this for you. So you don't need to worry. You know that your Xero account, if you ran any reports for your last financial year, will agree to what's been submitted to Companies House and HMRC. Those are the accountants you want to work with. And then we have the Xero accountants that I would give a B rating to. And these accountants, of course, they'll submit your accounts to HMRC and Companies House as expected. They will make changes if you've made any mistakes and any final adjustments. For example, your corporation tax charge, the same as before. But this time what they will then do is they will then pass on the information to you, letting you know what these adjustments are and leave you to update your Xero account. So you need to know what to do in your Xero account, and I will be explaining that later in the video. Now let's talk about the Xero accountants that I would give a C rating to. And to be honest, I'm probably being too generous giving them a C rating. But these accountants, of course, are going to submit your accounts to HMRC and Companies House as expected. But then what happens is absolutely nothing. These accountants might have a fancy website, they might have a huge number of staff, they might be Xero Gold partners, but I'm certainly not going to rate them. So then what happens is you are left to pick up the pieces, find out, and maybe at a later date, maybe you don't even realise that your Xero account does not agree to what's been submitted to HMRC and Companies House. So in this video, I'm going to show you what to do with these adjustments, but also explain how you would get these adjustments so that you can update your Xero account. Hopefully you never have to do that, but of course that's talking about the ideal world. So go out there and find yourself an A-rated accountant, but if you've dealt with a B or a C previously or currently, keep watching the video and I'll show you what you need to do to make these adjustments in your Xero account. Okay, so here's what your B-rated accountant has sent you. They've done the year-end adjustments, but they've been very kind in letting you know what they've done. So there's only 2 adjustments that they have made. First of all, you made a mistake. You entered your mobile phone bill for November 2021 and you coded it to rent by mistake. So the accountant has fixed that. The second entry is not a mistake, but it's just a final adjustment that you probably wouldn't deal with. Your accountant has worked out your corporation tax charge for the year and it's £550. So what you would want to do is you would want to go into your Xero account and you would want to make those changes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a profit and loss account. And I'm going to find this transaction that's been coded to rent in error. Now I don't have an office or a factory, so I don't actually pay any rent. So if I go to my profit and loss account and I find a figure for rent, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to realise this is what they're talking about. I incorrectly coded the mobile phone bill to rent. So I'm going to go to bill options, I'm going to edit, and it's going to be as simple as change the code from rent to telephone and update. So that's number 1. Number 2, I need to enter the corporation tax. So there's nothing to amend this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the accounting menu. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to choose manual journals. I'm going to say new journal. I'm going to say corporation tax charge. My year-end date is what I'm going to enter. And then I'm going to debit the corporation tax on my profit and loss account, which is code 500. The amount I've been told is 550. And then I'm going to pick up corporation tax again, but this time on my balance sheet, the liability that's due to be paid. And it's called provision for corporation tax. If I wasn't sure, Billy Brown is being quite polite and he said if I've got any questions, go back to him. If I wasn't sure where to code this transaction, I go back and ask. But because I know that's what I need to do, I would simply go to post. Okay, that's fine, but what do I do if I've got the dreaded C-rated accountant? So here's what you've got sent from your C-rated accountant. You've actually had to chase them up because there's been radio silence. So you've chased them up, and what you need to ask them for is a report that accountants would call a trial balance, and that simply lists the final balances at your year-end date. Your statutory accounts don't give enough information, so this is what you're going to need. So you've got this report. This is from Chris Crum, your C-rated accountant. Eventually he's given it to you. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to compare these final balances to what you have in your Xero account. So then it's up to you to work out what needs to be changed. And what you'll discover once you look at this is telephone and internet is £60, but in your Xero account it's only 30, and you've got a rent cost of 30. And then the other thing that you'll pick up is that the corporation tax, the £550, has also been entered. So you've got corporation tax here, 550, and then corporation tax on the balance sheet, 550 as well. So this time you go into your Xero account and you might be able to pick up the telephone that's gone to rent. Sometimes you're not able to. When that's the case, you would go to your manual journals, so accounting manual journals, new journal, and this time you would say year-end adjustments from Chris Crum, 30th of April, and then you're entering what these adjustments are. So you know that you need to put £30 to telephone, you need to remove that £30 from rent, and then you have corporation tax, 550, provision for corporation tax, 550. Now you would post that, and then the final thing that you would do, you go to your accounting menu, you go to your reports, you would look for the same report, trial balance, which is simply a list of all your balances. We select it at the end of the last financial year. This is what you have in your Xero account now, and you want to be double checking that this agrees to what Chris Crum, your C-rated accountant, has sent you. I hope you find the video useful. If there's one takeaway from this video, go out and get yourself an A-rated accountant. If you have the B or the C and you've got to update your Xero account by yourself, if you're struggling, of course I can offer you help. I offer one-to-one Xero coaching, and there's a link below where you can get access to my online calendar. But hopefully you have your A-rated accountant, you don't need to deal with that, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, happy Xeroing!